I think this kid is missing something. Not sure what. Hey, how's it going? In today's video, we have the 1/48 scale RX-78F00 bust model from Bandai. And I bought this kit from the Yokohoma Gundam factory for 4,800 yen. And as you can see, this is not your typical model kit. Like the name entails, it's just the bust or the upper torso in a 1/48 scale of the giant Yokohoma Gundam you see. And I completely understand if you're not interested in this. But if you're still here, let's start the review. And like always, exquisite box art. I was never really interested in bust models. However, since I was there, might as well get it. And remember, it is 1/48 scale, so it's kinda big. On the side of the box, we got an image showing the Yokohama Gundam factory, and an image of the kit all finished up, unpainted. Also got some more images highlighting the build, and gonna say it now, pretty easy build. On the other side, we got the model kit painted up, as well as some illustrations of the Yokohama giant Gundam itself. There are also images regarding the decals that come with the kit, and an optional piece to extend the neck. Yeah, we'll get to that later on. Also images emphasizing the extra panel lining, which is always good, and also the light up function. And because it does have lights, it means batteries are not included. But enough of that, let's take a look at the actual kit. I present to you the 1/48 scale RX-78F00 bus model. This kit is complete straight build, panel line with all these stickers used. And there's quite a lot of stickers considering this is just the upper torso. And worry not, they're all just decals, not color correcting stickers like the 1/100 scale. And by that I mean those gray stickers that go in it. In regards to this kit, like always, I use as many as the manual tells me to use. And you still have some leftovers. Now in regards to the build, since you're building like 33% of a Gundam, it's pretty easy. There's not that many runners, so it's a relatively quick build. Also want to point out, a lot of the parts are glossy on this kit, and the plastic is quite hard, so be careful when you're cutting parts off as to not scratch it. In addition, being hard plastic, and the gates holding the parts are pretty big, it can leave some pretty bad nub marks. And if you don't know what a gate is, it's pretty much the small piece of plastic that's attached to the runner holding the part in. You would usually cut the gate furthest away from the part, so then you don't get these bad nub marks, but because how big they are, there's a high chance of nub marks. Alternatively, you could just sand everything down, but I don't like sanding stuff. But once you're done, you're left with a very beautiful piece. Firstly, let's point out the colored part separation. I really like the use of gray to contrast the white. Not a hard contrast, still very subtle, but I definitely like it. This also applies to the different blues that they use. The light blue contrasting with the dark blue look very good on the chest. There's also a good amount of surface level detail found all throughout the kit. And though there are parts you could panel line, and a lot of other lines you see are just from part separation. And with the scaling of this kit, it's easier to see the mold process and textures that are applied to it. The breaks in the panels and the unevenness of it gives a good amount of realism. And of course you get this in your normal 1/100s, master grades and whatnot, but just on this scale it's easier to see and you could appreciate it more. Did I also mention it's very glossy, and for a kit this scale, quite eye-catching. Overall, a very beautiful kit, but as you can see, it's just a torso with two stumps of an arm, so don't expect much articulation. Due to the design of the neck, it could barely tilt side to side, but there is an up and down head tilt, and due to the neck design, it can't fully rotate its head. Lastly, the beam saber handles on its backpack can move side to side. And that's pretty much it. Because it's a bust model, it's just meant to be displayed, so there's no real joints in between the joints. And yeah, it's not really intended to move. So don't expect any articulation, it's just for display. Coming on to extras and accessories, it doesn't have that much. Firstly, we got this display base. Nothing particularly special about it, there's some surface level detail, and the Gundam just sits on it. Pretty tight connection here, you can see it pretty much grinding down the connection peg. If you ever do get this model kit, be sure just to wiggle it out, don't force it, it might break the peg. And pretty much you're going to need that display base to, well, display this kit. Next up, coming to the neck, interestingly enough, you are given a plastic piece to elongate the neck. It's this white piece over here, kind of weird, but here it is without it, and here it is with it. I personally prefer my Gundam having a neck, so I'll just keep that piece on. But you're given the option to change it, I guess, so that's neat. Next up, the biggest accessory for this kit is the light up function. You're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver, and two LR41 batteries, which don't come included, unfortunately. So put those batteries in, test to see if they work, screw in everything, and then put it in its head. And there you go, it's much easier to see it in the dark, and don't be fooled, it looks a lot brighter on camera. When you see it with your own eyes, it isn't that bright. I do like how that light pokes out of that clear red up top. I don't really care about light up gimmicks, but it's cool to see, and it's cool to have. And like I said before, if it's not in complete darkness, it's pretty hard to see the light. Next up, let's move on to the shake test. I do this because you don't have to. Don't expect much from this though. Yeah, there you go. Just as expected. Overall, the kit is pretty solid, except for those shoulders, but realistically, no one's ever going to shake or move this thing anyways. As for size, it's around 6 inches tall, or 15.24 centimeters, and it's around 7.5 inches wide, including the base, or around 19 centimeters. As for size comparison, here it is next to the entry grade RX-72, master grade RX-72, the Origin, high-end master model Firefox, and here it is next to its smaller completed counterpart, the no grade 1100 RX-78F00. Then we got Haro, Doraemon, DK, a phone stand from the Gundam Factory, and another phone stand from the Gundam Factory. Then we got Little Uta and Adult Uta. As for shelf presence, here it is next to the Gundam Factory F00 display I have so far. Looks pretty good in there, and I still got space for the giant one. Can't wait. Alrighty, this review is done, and what are my final thoughts? This is a very unique kit. I understand if a lot of people don't really care for it, because, you know, it's just half a Gundam. And 4,800 yen for half a Gundam is pretty expensive. And though it looks pretty good, there's no articulation whatsoever, it's relatively solid, and that's that. It's purely a display piece with a light up gimmick. Or you could just save the money and buy the full completed version of it. It does cost a bit more, which is pretty much the same thing, but with articulation. So it's pretty much up to you. Just keep in mind that the Yokohama Gundam Factory is probably going to be closing down in 2024, so I'm not sure if they're going to keep making this bus model after that. But if they do stop producing this, it might be a good collector's piece. But thanks for watching my video. I hope you like it. I enjoy making it. Let me know what you think. Would you actually get this kit? Is it even something you care for? Or would you just prefer to getting the big giant one? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye.